Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is one that I'm super excited to film for you guys because today we are going to be doing a get ready with me to go to dessert with my friend. So I'm not entirely sure what type of makeup look I'm inspired to do tonight. I might do some sort of mauvey brown smoky eye and maybe a nude or a chocolate brown lip. I feel like that's very dessert inspired, so we'll see what I come up with. But I did rummage through all of my unused new makeup that I've hauled in the last few hauls, and I came up with a full face of makeup that I have yet to try. So I'm really excited for this one, and I think it's going to be super fun. So if you're curious to see how this turns out, then just continue watching. So starting off, one of the products that I was the most excited to try out of my unused boxes was actually these two right here. So these are the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Glued Water Resistant Spiking Glue for Screaming Hold and the Schwarzkopf Got to Be Ultra Glued Indestructible Styling Gel for Screaming Hold. So I thought to compare them both, let's try one in one brow and one in the other and we'll see what the differences are. Maybe one of them might have a slightly stronger hold. So to apply that into my brows, I thought let's try out this brush right here. This is the Real Techniques Lash Brow Groomer Brush. So here is what it looks like. As you can see, on one side it's got a lash comb and then on the other side it's got a brow brush. So starting off with the yellow one, I'm going to go right ahead and pop some of that straight onto the brow brush. There is what the texture looks like. So you can see it's a white cream. I have a feeling that might have actually been too much product, so I'm just going to wipe it off on the back of my hand and then I'm going to start back combing my brows. And then to comb them in place, I might actually try the metal side, which is designed for lashes, and I'm going to try and just comb them into place. And then switching over, I'm going to really try and flatten those hairs down. I mean, that looks pretty good, so just to make sure that there's no excess product and they're really flat, I'm going to push them down towards my skin. But wow, you guys, that's pretty good. So I went right ahead and I just wiped off the majority of the product that was left on the brow brush onto a tissue to minimize transfer. So moving on to the black one, I'm going to do the exact same thing. Here is what the texture of that one looks like. As you can see, this one is actually a little bit more clear. So I'm going to do the same thing and wipe off the majority onto the back of my hand. And I'm going to start brushing that backwards through my brow hairs. And then I'm going to do the same thing and use the metal comb to start brushing the hairs up. And then flipping it over, and I'm really trying to press those hairs towards my skin. So you can see they both managed to go upwards, but I can tell this one is a little bit wetter initially. I can feel it now getting a little bit tackier, but this one got really dry really quickly. This one is taking a little bit longer, but you can see it's definitely gripping on really well. So far, apart from the color and the fact that this one started off a little bit more watery, I can't tell the biggest difference. So I just went and wet a cotton tip with some water and I've actually had a real good look at the two of them. I do think the hold on this one is pretty strong, but ironically I think the yellow one is slightly stronger. I feel like this is actually super flat to the face. This one I can feel is actually a little bit more of a softer hold. So if you like a light hold, you might like this one. If you like that laminated flat brow look, you'll prefer this one. So I'm going to take my cotton tip with the water and just clean off the edges. So moving on to the next brow product, I've got to be honest, I'm super nervous to try this out. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the stencils or the applicator that gets me a little bit worried, but we're going to give it our best shot. This is the MCOBEAUTY Instant Brows Express Kit. It says instantly sculpts perfect brows, won't smudge or budge, easy to use brow stamp, and this one here is in the shade medium dark. So wish me luck. I'm going to give it a go and hopefully it doesn't turn out bad. So on the inside, it comes with a brush and some stencils. And then it comes with the product itself, which I'm assuming you wind off. And then, yeah, you can see it's kind of like a stamping style device. So the good thing is there's actually quite a few stencils. I feel like any of these kind of pre-made stencil style products only come with 1 or 2. But this one I think actually has 2, 4, 5 different stencils. So I'm going to do my best to try and find the one that suits my brow. Petite arch is probably not the one. Low arch probably doesn't work either. Medium arch, kind of closer, but the tail is too high. High arch actually looks pretty close. I can see most of my hairs are in there, but there's one more left. And then this one is full arch. So I'd actually say, to be honest, I'm somewhere between high arch and full arch. It's hard to decide which one. Maybe I'm going to go with full arch. Yeah, I'd probably say that one fits me the best. So I've done my best to align it, and I'm going to go right ahead and start stamping that on top of the stencil. Alright, moment of truth. Let's try the other one. Alright, so I've just reloaded the powder. I've done my best to align the stencil, and let's try this shape. Alright, moment of truth. It's better, but no. That is horrifying, you guys. Yeah, no. So I'm going to take this off, and I might try using the little angled brush and trying to draw it on that way, because this is bad. Okay, so now that I've just reset the brows, I can tell you for sure the yellow one is better. I did this one in the yellow, this one in the black, and for some reason I actually couldn't get the black one to hold at all this time. So I just took the yellow one and put it in both brows, and I can tell I like the yellow one a lot more. So what I'm going to do next is try this product again. So let's open it up. And this time I'm going to try the little angled brow brush. So I'm going to take some of the powder onto the brush, and I'm going to lightly try to start filling in any gaps. Yeah, that is so much better. You can actually see that actually looks like nice brow hairs. It actually looks a little bit softer, a little bit more defined, and not so stark. I've never found any of these kind of stamp template type products that actually work, so I was not surprised to see this one go bad, but I actually was trying, and you can see if you do actually take the time, put a little bit of the powder, fluff it through the brow, kind of finesse it, it actually looks really good, and actually the color doesn't look too dark now. So I'm actually quite happy that I managed to get that to work, because honestly there was no going back. So moving on to complexion, starting off with primer. I'm not actually sure if I've tried this exact primer because it sounds the same, but the outer packaging looks totally different. This is the Tarte Quench Hydrating Primer. Oh wait, no, I've actually tried this before. Here is what the packaging looks like, but for some reason I actually thought it wasn't the same thing because the box looks so different, but I actually have a sample of it somewhere. Yeah, that's what the sample looks like. It is so cute. It is such a good primer, so I'm actually very happy to have the full size. So on the inside you can see it comes in a squeezy tube packaging, so I'm going to take some of that onto the tips of my fingers. There is what the texture looks like. As you can see, it's quite runny, so I'm going to massage that between my fingertips and apply that straight onto my skin. So moving on to foundation, I wanted to try out this one right here. I actually looked on the Tarte website and I think it's now been discontinued, which is sad. But this is the Tarte High Performance Naturals Clay Stick Foundation in the shade Medium Sand. So here is what the packaging looks like. As you can see, it comes in a brown stick. It's got gold hardware, and then the lid actually has a little sticker on the top. And as you can see, it's a wind up, wind down stick foundation. So to apply the foundation, I've got quite a few of these Dose of Colours beauty sponges. I've actually already tried out these two, which are the Dose of Colours Seamless Beauty Sponge and the Dose of Colours Seamless Beauty Sponge Jumbo, so I might put them aside. But these two I have yet to try. So I've got the Dose of Colours Seamless Beauty Sponge Pen Point and the Dose of Colours Seamless Beauty Sponge Sculpt and Shape. So I think today maybe let's try out the Sculpt and Shape. So here is what the sponge looks like, and honestly it has got the most unique shape I've ever seen. If you look at it from one side, it just looks like a teardrop, and then you flip it around and there's actually this completely flat surface right here. So you can see it is such a unique shape, so I'm very excited to try it out. So let's do a before and after. So here is what it looks like when it's dry. And then here is what it looks like when it's wet, so you can see it really does puff up quite a bit. So starting off with the foundation, I'm going to go right ahead and start painting that onto the skin. It's actually incredibly creamy. That is actually quite nice. And then I'm going to try the flat end of the sponge and I'm going to start patting that into my skin. So there is what that amount of product looks like on this half of my face, and you can see it actually blended out super quickly. I would say the color's about a half a shade too light for me, but I think with a little bit of bronzer it will be perfectly fine. I do think, again, you can see it is quite light coverage, but we didn't actually use a lot of product, and I did blend it out with a sponge, which normally dilutes the product. So I'm going to go right ahead, even myself out, and then we'll do a second layer. So there is what 2 layers of the foundation looks like on my skin, and you can see it's got this really beautiful glowy finish. The coverage actually picked up quite a bit, so you can see my scarring on this side is pretty much now concealed. I do think with 2 layers you can see the color is definitely too light for me, so let's go right ahead and add some bronzer. So for cream bronzer, this is actually one that I've already tried, but I've almost finished mine, so I thought let's open up a brand new packet. So this is the MCOBEAUTY Instant Contour Cream Bronzer in the shade Light Medium. So here is what the packaging looks like. As you can see, it comes in a squeezy tube, and then you take off the cap and you can see it's got a little puff on the end. At the end of the packaging, underneath the sponge, you can see there's a little twist lock, so you unlock it to release the product, and then you squeeze out some product, and then you can lock it back up to seal the packaging back up again. So you can see it's such a nice warm bronzer color, so I'm going to go right ahead and start applying that straight to my skin. So to blend out the cream contour, I'm going into this set right here. I've actually already used one of them, so this one here is my backup that I'm going to open up today. This is the Real Techniques sculpting set. So to blend out my cream contour, I'm going to use this brush right here, which is called the sculpting brush. So here is what the brush looks like. As you can see, it's a nice slim buffing brush. So I'm going to start patting the cream contour into my skin. You can see it blends out in literally 2 seconds. I will admit I did actually go through the first one super quickly. It only took me about a month and a half to finish it, but as you can see, it is so worth it, and I feel like, again, it's super inexpensive. So moving on to concealer, I've got this one here that I haven't tried yet. This is the Tarte Creaseless Concealer, and I have the shade 25S Light Medium Sand. So here is what the packaging looks like. It is actually super pretty. I love the purple lid with the flowers and the frosted container. I actually think it looks really nice. And then on the inside, it comes with a flat doe foot applicator. So I'm going to go right ahead and start applying that underneath my eyes. I can tell it is quite a thick formula. I'm also going to put a tiny bit on my eyelid as well, and just a tiny bit by the sides of my nose. And then to blend it out, I'm going to try the little teardrop side of the sponge. Yeah, that actually looks really nice. We'll see if it actually is creaseless, because I feel like that's a near impossible claim. But I'm curious how they came up with creaseless, because it's such a thick concealer. But again, I'll let you know how that goes. So moving on to powder, I've got this one here to try. This is the Tarte High Performance Naturals Confidence Creamy Powder Foundation in the shade Light Neutral. I actually checked this one on the website when I checked out the foundation, and sadly this one here has been discontinued as well. So we'll try it out today, but if you wanted to pick it up, sadly it's been discontinued. And then on the inside here is what the packaging looks like, and you can see it comes with its own little sponge. And then here is what the shade Light Neutral looks like, so we'll mainly focus that underneath the eyes. So as I said, on the inside it comes with its own little sponge. On one side you can see it's a little bit more of that kind of velvety texture, and then the other side you can see it's more of that typical sponge. So I might actually use this one underneath the eyes. So a little update on the concealer. I actually feel like it hasn't creased that badly underneath the eyes. You can see on the top of my eyelid it's definitely settled and creased a little bit, but underneath the eyes, for such a thick glowy concealer, it's actually not creased that badly. So let's try some of the powder. So taking the velvet side of the sponge, I'm going to work that into the powder, and I'm going to start setting my under eyes. Yeah, wow, that powder actually smoothed out the under eye so well. You can really see right here, it just covered so nicely. Oh my goodness, wow. I'm gonna try the powder between my forehead, down my nose and around the mouth. Yeah, you guys, that powder is so smoothing and so flawless. I'm so sad you can't pick that up anymore. I feel like, especially for touch-ups, for some reason I can tell the texture of this powder is actually going to sit super well over glowy makeup. So you can see, especially any of these areas where I had kind of shine before, it's not feeling heavy, but it definitely feels a little bit more smooth. Okay, so for the rest of the cheek, I actually put all the remaining VIEVE items that I haven't yet tried into this VIEVE pouch. So I think we actually have a couple of blushes and a highlight in here. Yeah, we do. So we've got 2 more shades of the VIEVE Sunset blushes left to try. So I've got Malbec and Piazza. So here is what they look like. This one here is Malbec and this one here is Piazza. I think today let's actually try out Piazza first, because I actually question whether it's going to be a little bit more of a bronzer shade on me. So I might try this one out as a little bit more of a blush bronzer, and then either way we'll try this one out on top. So to apply that to the skin, I want to try out this brush set, which I actually picked up quite a while ago. This is the Real Techniques by Sam and Nick Limited Edition Metallic Dimension 5 Tools for Stunning Looks. So you can see it's got quite a few brushes. So I'm actually going to start off with this one right here, which is called the 215 Blending Brush. So I'm going to start by tapping that brush straight into the blush. And I'm going to start applying that to my cheeks. So you can see on me it actually kind of looks a little bit more like a blushy bronzer. So I think I can get away with putting it around the perimeter of my face. Kind of going for more of that sunburnt look. And then I'm going to take it across the bridge of my nose as well. And then going back into the kit and switching brushes to this brush here, which is the 415 Round Blush. And I'm grabbing the shade Malbec, so I'm going to take that brush and start tapping into that blush. I'm going to start patting that onto the backs of my cheeks, and I'm going to bring the excess forward. As you can see on me, that blush shade is super extreme, so I'm going to take my sponge and pat over the blush again. And you can see that just made it a little bit more suitable for my skin tone, but for anybody that's a little bit darker, this shade would look so pretty on you. It is that kind of bitten raspberry oxblood red color. It's kind of like a maroon. It's super, super pretty. So moving on to highlighter, I've got one more shade left of the VIEVE Nova Glow highlighter. This one here is in the shade Riches. So here is what the shade Riches looks like. As you can see, it's a beautiful caramel bronze tone. On my skin tone, you can tell it's going to be way too dark for me. So I'm not actually going to try it on my face. I'm going to try it on my shoulders. So I'm going back into this kit and I'm grabbing the middle brush here, which is called the fan brush. So I'm going to take the brush straight into the highlight. And I'm going to apply it straight onto my shoulders. So you can see it actually has a really beautiful warm bronze glow. I feel like once again on anyone that's a little bit darker than me, it will look so good on you. But for my face highlight, I'm going to use this shade here, which I've used several times before. This one is in the shade Holy Chic. So to apply the highlight, I'm taking the last brush in this set, which is called the setting brush. So I'm taking that brush straight into the highlighter. And I'm applying that to the top of my cheekbones. You can see why I love these highlights so much. They are super, super pretty. Okay, so I've zoomed you guys in so we can start on the eyes. But for eyeshadow palettes, I've got 3 of these eyeshadow palettes that I haven't tried yet. These are the Dose of Colors eyeshadow palettes. Seeing as I'm planning on doing some kind of mauvey smoky eye today, I think this palette here is going to be perfect. This is the Dose of Colors Marvelous Mauves palette, and you can see it's got an arrangement of different mauvey smoky tones. So here is what the packaging looks like. As you can see, it comes in reflective packaging. And then on the inside, you can see it comes with a dual-sided brush and 5 matte mauve tone eyeshadows. So I'm starting off with a big fluffy brush. I've already used this one before. This is the Dose of Colors blending brush. And I'm tapping into the second shadow here, which is called Rosy. And I'm going to start popping that through my crease. Next, I'm taking the same brush into the first shadow in the palette, which is called Fluffy. And I'm using that to blend out the perimeter. Going back into the brush set, I'm grabbing this brush right here, which is the 316 Pointed Crease Brush. And I'm tapping the very tip into the last shadow in the palette, which is called Wine Stain. And I'm buffing that through my outer V and onto my lash line. Taking the same brush, I'm tapping into the 4th shade in the palette, which is called Spaced Out. And I'm using that to blend out the darkest shade. Next, grabbing the last brush in the kit, which is the 315 Max Shadow Brush. I'm tapping the tip of the brush into the middle shade, which is called Wishy Washy. And I'm smoking that on my lower lash line. And then for the lid color, I've actually got a bunch of these Dose of Colors Ideal Duo Loose Pigment and Primers. So I'll actually maybe use one of these. I have the shades Magic Moment, Lucky Star, Sticks and Stones, and 3 in Sunset. So we'll see which one I choose. So I think I'll actually try out this one right here. You can see the cream is more of a taupe and then the loose powder is kind of like a cranberry mauve. So I'm starting off by grabbing that same MAC shadow brush and I'm tapping into the cream. And I'm patting that on the inner half of the eyelid. And then underneath the cap you can see it twists off and then you've got the pigment in the bottom as well. So I'm taking that same brush and I'm tapping that into the pigment. And I'm patting that all over the lid. Yeah, that is so pretty, you guys. Oh my goodness. So next for liner, I've got quite a few of the Dose of Colors eyeliners left to try. I've got Unbox, Loyal, Dark Roast, Romance, and Lucky. I think today let's go in with the middle one, Dark Roast. So here is what the packaging looks like. It is a wind up, wind down pencil. Dark Roast is this really beautiful darkened berry maroon color. So I'm going to start by running that through my lower lash line and waterline. And then I'm going to run that really close to my upper lash line as well and create a bit of a wing. And then for mascara, I'm going to try out this one right here. This is the Tarte Big Ego Mascara in the shade Black. Here is what the packaging looks like. I don't even think you can tell on camera, but this is actually neon pink. And then the wand looks like this. So you can see it's kind of that hourglass shape. So I'm going to go right ahead and apply a couple of coats to my upper and lower lashes. So far this mascara is very lengthening, very volumizing, but it's not giving me any thickness at all. So if you really like that separated long lash, you'll really like this. And then for lashes, you can see I've got two more styles of the VIEVE half lashes to try. So here is what they look like. This one here is HL1 and this one here is HL4 Enhance. I think today let's try out HL1. So let's do a before and after. So here are my eyes before the lashes. And then here are the eyes with the lashes on. These are super pretty and fluttery and romantic. And then moving on to lips, you can see I've got 3 different lip liners and 3 different lipsticks left to try from VIEVE. So for the liners, I've got these ones here. These are the VIEVE Modern Lip Definers and I've got the shades Velvet Sands, Rumour and Tailored left to try. I honestly don't know. Maybe because I said I was going to do the brown, I'll do the brown, and if I don't like it, I'll switch it for the nude. So I'm going to start by lining my lips. And then for lipsticks, we've got these 3 left to try. These are the VIEVE Modern Matte Lipsticks in the shades 9Ts, Coming In Hot, and Power Suit. I think because we've already gone the dark brown, let's go for the shade Power Suit. So here is what the shade Power Suit looks like. I actually think it might be a little bit red. I'll try it on anyways, but I might end up switching to the nude, but we'll see. So I'm going to go right ahead and start filling in the lip. So I'm just filling in the edges because it is a little bit more red terracotta than I was picturing. So there is what that combo looks like, and if I'm being honest, I think it's a little bit too red for the eye, which is a little bit more cool tone, so I'm actually going to switch it for the nude. So I just went right ahead and took off the lip, so let's go right ahead and try out this shade here in the lip liner called Velvet Sands. So I'm starting by lining my lips. And then to fill in the lip, I'm going to try out this shade here, which is called 90s. So I'm going to apply that straight onto the lip. Yeah, I feel like that is so much more balanced, and I feel like because it's softer, it lets the eyes pop, so I think that was the right choice. So yeah, guys. This is the finished look for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had so much fun creating this look and playing with a whole bunch of brand new products. If you enjoyed this type of video, let me know down below in the comments and I'll create more. But if you did enjoy this video, you guys know what to do. Please feel free to leave me a like, comment and leave any requests that you have down below in the comment bar. Subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell and drag it all the way down to all to become a part of this family and be notified of all my future videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys. Bob?
Yes, mate.
Can you come here a sec?
Sure.
My brows look.
finger painting?
I tried a stencil.
My love. You look like a cartoon character. What happened? Stencil?